baby! With some more wrestling events, a triple threat today. As tonight I go to Las Vegas, Nevada for a wild week of wrestling there. Dynamite Wednesday, FSW Thursday, GCW Friday, a litany of shows on Saturday, and then concluded all on Sunday with Double or Nothing. But before we get to all of that, we have to rewind a little back to earlier this weekend, Sunday night. We are going to be doing a mega rant on New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence from Los Angeles, specifically from the University of Long Beach, California. What a show this was. A lot of news coming out of this event. My goodness. I have to say, I think I've seen pretty much every New Japan Strong or New Japan USA big special event. There's been a lot of them in the past. Back in the days of Access TV, where they would be showing some of these events live there. I have to say, out of all of the US New Japan events, this one may have been the best ever. This was a top to bottom loaded show. I was so impressed by this. Well, I mean, just one match after the other, really hitting good. A lot of fallout news from this one too. We'll talk about that. But let's get into all the details on a mega rant for Resurgence. First and foremost, Resurgence was from the Walter Pyramid in Los Angeles, suburban Los Angeles, Long Beach, specifically on the campus of, I believe it was the University of California, Long Beach, or something along those lines, college campus. Really unique venue. New Japan has been to Walter Pyramid at least a couple times, I believe maybe 2 or 3 for big shows, and then this one really took the cake. Pretty close to sold out, and official attendance courtesy of CageMatch.net of 2,903. It was kind of sparse in the outset of the show, but as the show progressed, it got a lot more crowded. And boy, this crowd was fucking jacked to the gills, folks. One of the better New Japan crowds I've ever seen in the United States, quite frankly. They just were on fire for just about everything. Announcers for this show, Ian Riccaboni of Ring of Honor, Veda Scott, and Alex Kozlov. So let's just get into the main notes from the show. Everybody probably knows by this point the Mercedes Mone injury that happened during the match at the end with Willow Nightingale. She was trying something from the top rope and slipped and just kind of landed down on the floor, and I think lost her footing, didn't really know what exactly she was going to hit the ring apron or hit the floor, and boom, boom, boom. No official word yet on what exactly the injury is, but there is some speculation and fear within some wrestling circles that she either broke her ankle or broke maybe a part of her foot, a foot bone, something like that. So time will tell. Probably in a few days, things will come out more about this. One other piece of news that did come out that I read today was that the audible was made in the ring by Mercedes Mone to switch the finish up. Sometimes in wrestling, when somebody gets injured, they immediately go to the finish, but yet that person maybe was originally penciled to win the match, and they still go with that finish as best they can. Well, not in this case, because Willow Nightingale was not supposed to win the match, but Mone made the call to give her the win and give her the nod, probably because she knew she was going to be out for quite a while. So the first inaugural New Japan Strong Women's Champion is Willow Nightingale in a shoot, basically, on that one. It was originally supposed to be Mercedes Mone. In fact, that belt was kind of made for her. They set up a new deal with her, specifically with the idea that she would be touring with the New Japan Strong brand. And now with everything with her injury, I guess everything's up in the air a little bit. We'll see where they go with it. And unfortunately, I think Mercedes might be out for a while with this injury. A couple other injuries to talk about from this show. Not that one that had happened at the show per se, but Aussie Open have vacated both New Japan Strong and the IWGP tag titles on this show. Kyle Fletcher did a promo, talked about Mark Davis being injured. We talked about that in the last rant. Layla ran down. He had an injury that arthroscopic surgery, I believe, on his knee. Had a torn meniscus, I believe. He may be out for 6 weeks or something like that. But that was part of the show. Also, Will Ospreay may have potentially aggravated or injured his shoulder. He had a AC joint injury prior. So he had that nagging, and at the end of this match on this show with Hiroshi Tanahashi, he was visibly injured. He was holding his shoulder. You could tell he was in a lot of pain. Let's hope this doesn't lead to much of anything serious, because Ospreay's got a really busy schedule ahead here in the summer, probably leading and culminating with All In at Wembley Stadium, where he's going to be in more than likely a really big, significant match on that card. A few surprises from the AEW side on this show. Toni Storm showed up with her fiance, husband. Are they married or are they just a couple? I don't remember. But she showed up to help Juice Robinson beat Fred Rosser in a street fight. And some interesting spots by Toni Storm in this match. She got very physically involved. Also, Eddie Kingston made a surprise show-up promo remotely, challenging the winner of the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, which ended up being in a weird turn of events. Kenta regained that title from Hikuleo via count-out. You don't really see that often in title matches, but in Japan, you can win the titles by disqualification or count-out. That's one of the rules of the New Japan brand. So those are kind of the main takes from the show. Let's get into the match results and my thoughts, match times, etc., etc. A couple matches on the pre-show. Boy, I tell you, the pre-show started, and there was, I am not kidding you guys, like 20 people maybe in the crowd. I mean, it was, I don't know what was going on with trying to get people in this arena or what, but the first couple matches, by the second pre-show match, started filling in a little bit, but this first pre-show match, holy cow, more or less an empty arena match. The DKC over Bateman with a roll-up after Bateman was trying a submission. Kind of uninspired work. They really couldn't do much with like no crowd there. I went 2.5 stars, 9 minutes, 30 seconds on this one. Second match, Alex Coughlin went over Christopher Daniels. This is all because I would assume Coughlin is set to take on Katsuyori Shibata in Las Vegas on Wednesday at the Dynamite tapings for the Ring of Honor TV show. And I think they wanted to give a leg up on Alex Coughlin and get him some shine leading into this match with Shibata in Las Vegas. And AEW rep Christopher Daniels went all over and beyond, putting this guy over. He allowed Coughlin to kick out of the Angel's Wings finisher and then took a jackhammer for the pin. Alex Coughlin wins in 10 minutes, 20 seconds. I went 3 1/4 stars. There was some inspiring work in this match. I thought both of these guys looked pretty fucking good here. Then we get into one more thing on the pre-show. Fred Rosser came out talking about the New Japan Pro Wrestling Academy, aka the LA Dojo, which has been around for about 5 years now. It's become more of the New Japan Academy, but they had like a promo for it, and they were trying to recruit people for it. I believe the class starting in July. Opening video package of the pay-per-view then kicked off, and we had our first match, which was an interesting match for sure. Battle of kind of technical wrestling, some brawling, and some lucha with 2 stars from the Mexican side, Viros and Barbaro Cabanario, the caveman, if you know him from CMML. They won over Zack Sabre Jr. and Bad Dude Tito of TDMK in a Really excellent opening match. I went 3 3/4 stars at 14 minutes and 5 seconds. The Luchadors won with the Cavernaria by Cavernario. A really cool submission you gotta check out if you aren't familiar with this guy at all. And after the match, Viros and Zack Sabre Jr. got into it a little bit, so I'm kind of wondering if perhaps if this is going to be on a future edition of Ring of Honor TV. Would not shock me. Hey, maybe we'll see it at the Dynamite tapings on tomorrow in Las Vegas. Maybe I'll be in attendance for this match. But they were definitely setting something up here between those two guys in the aftermatch. Then we get into two really excellent semifinal women's tournament matches for this New Japan Strong Women's Championship. The first one was Mercedes Mone over Stephanie Vaquer of CMLL, who I've never seen before. I don't get CMLL on TV. I just don't have an opportunity to watch it weekly. But this gal was impressive, let me tell you. And in addition, Mercedes Mone, I think this was easily in the top 3 of the best Mercedes Mone matches in New Japan so far. Easily. You could argue maybe even number 2. Possibly. I don't think it was better than the match with Kairi Sane, but this was still hitting on numerous levels. 11 minutes, 55 seconds. I went 4 1/4 stars on this one. The crowd was so into this. And these two gelled like just smooth as silk. It was surprising because they didn't have a history or anything like that, but they were just clicking on numerous levels. Mercedes finally won with the Money Maker, and real shame seeing how the night ended for Mercedes, because this was just an awesome showcase by her. It really showed how strong of a worker she is. And for that matter, Stephanie Vaquer as well. Match number 5 was another semifinal match in the women's tournament. This was Willow Nightingale over Momo Kogo. I had not seen much of Momo Kogo. I was really impressed again by both of these women. Damn, 9 minutes, 37 seconds of the finish. 4 stars I went on this one. Again, hard work. These two were busting their ass in the ring. The crowd was so fully engaged in these two women's matches. It was incredible. Gut-wrench powerbomb for the finish, and Willow Nightingale goes over. Leads to Mercedes and Willow in the main event on this show. Then we get into a no disqualification street fight that I think overachieved to the max. Juice Robinson went over Fred Rosser in a 23-minute and 10-second match. I went 4 1/4 stars. Lots of tremendous brawling all over the place, inside the ring, outside the ring, weapons aplenty, chairs. There was a couple spots with doors. There was the ladder was implemented. There was just all kinds of weapon stuff in this match. This was also the match that Tony Storm showed up, as Juice Robinson was starting to really get his ass handed to him by Fred Rosser. He started bleeding. It looked like it was over for Juice Robinson. Then Tony Storm shows up, breaks up counts. No disqualification in this match, so she could do whatever she wanted in this match, and she definitely did. A lot of interference by Tony Storm. In fact, some of the last interference was a beer bottle shot to Fred Rosser, knocked him out. Then got that hip attack, which I believe she used like a steel trash can to even impact that blow even more. And then a DDT on the chair from Juice Robinson to Rosser. And Robinson wins over Rosser in quite a hell of a street fight. I want to see these guys take it back and do one more match with some stipulation in a future New Japan Strong show. Hopefully we'll see it soon. Kyle Fletcher came out after this with Aussie Open. Talked about the titles being vacated. We just addressed that in the beginning of this rant. Then we got the Strong Openweight Championship. This is a rematch from Dontaku. And Kenta regained the Strong Championship over Hikuleo via countout. This match had a lot brawling as well. Between the street fight and this match, there was a lot of brawling in and around ringside area, and the crowd was getting into it. For two matches that kind of had the same vibe, I was surprised because they were way into this match just as much as Juice Robinson and Fred Rosser. So the match is brawling all over the place. They start to go into an area of ringside where a table was set up, and then they go to the basically the bleachers. And they start climbing in the bleachers on the side, which is right by this table on the floor. Hikuleo teases a choke slam to Kenta, which this was a good 10 feet up in the air, legit, maybe even more. And Kenta blows Hikuleo and then throws Hikuleo over the railing onto the table in an impressive holy shit spot for sure. And after that, Kenta slowly makes his way back to the ring. The count is on. Hikuleo can't make it back into the ring. So Kenta wins by count out, gets that open weight New Japan Strong title back. How about that for a finish? Afterwards, Eddie Kingston cuts a promo remotely challenging the winner. So we're going to be seeing Kenta and Eddie Kingston once he gets better from that hernia surgery. Big announcement they made on this show as well. The New Japan Strong brand is actually coming to Tokyo and Korakuen Hall on July 4th and 5th. Interesting decision on that, since obviously that is a American holiday. So instead of doing the shows here, it's probably a good idea because July 4th is really not a good wrestling night. A lot of people don't come out on July 4th, even if it's a day show, really. So they are in Tokyo, Japan at Korakuen Hall for 2 nights, which they are entitling, I don't know if they even came up with a name quite yet on this one, but 2 nights at Korakuen Hall. It might be United We Stand. That sounds right, but don't quote me on that. There was a Statue of Liberty logo, and I think it might be United We Stand on July 4th and July 5th, Korakuen Hall. Match number 8, and this was a barn burner of a 6-man tag. Shota Umino, Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta over Rocky Romero, Tomohiro Ishii, and the one and only Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. Just, wow. So much heat in this match. The pace was great. The exchanges, particularly with Moxley and Okada, were fantastic. I really, really would want to see that match. Maybe we'll get that at like Forbidden Door or something. I would love to see a one-on-one match with Moxley and Okada. Moxley and Ishii also locked it up in really excellent spots. Umino looked great in there, and particularly the exchanges with him and Okada were something. Okada gets kind of heelish when he's working in there with the younger talent as he's trying to give him some shine. And this was all about Umino in this match. 19 minutes and 37 seconds of a 4 1/4 star match. Death Rider on Okada, then gets a Death Rider on Romero by Umino, and Shota Umino pins Rocky Romero for the win. Just a fantastic 6-man with lots of excellent near falls and a bunch of other good shit. And by the way, just to roll back on the strong title match with Kenta and Hikuleo, I don't think I talked about match time on that one. That was 11 minutes and 57 seconds. The 3 1/4 star match on that. Match number 9 out of 10 matches here, and this was the semifinals of the New Japan US title contenders tournament. Winner would take on Lance Archer at Dominion in in about another 10 days or so, or a little bit over that. Will Ospreay over Hiroshi Tanahashi. I went 4 stars on this one, 16 minutes and 44 seconds. Not a whole lot of spectacular spots in this match, but just a really well-worked match. Crowd was super into everything. Everybody loves Tanahashi. Everybody loves Ospreay. This was a win-win of a match. The only negative side to this one was that, as we said, it appears Will Ospreay may be not severely injured, but aggravated injury. we'll see what happens. But he was definitely favoring his shoulder as this match progressed, and it was very soon into the match that he started kind of favoring that shoulder. So hopefully everything's okay. Like I said, 4-star match, really excellent stuff here at the top of the card. Ospreay over Tanahashi. So that means Ospreay faces Lance Archer at Dominion. Winner gets Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door. And unless there's an injury to Ospreay, I cannot see Lance Archer in there against Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door. That just does not make sense at all. And then we get to the main event. This was the finals of the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Willow Nightingale over Mercedes Mone. We talked about it. This wasn't the original plan. And the match obviously got cut short when that injury happened, and it was really too bad because these two are having a great match. And particularly, Willow Nightingale was getting a lot of offense in the crux of this match, probably because she was going to be doing the job to Mone. So she looked really excellent and got a lot of shine in this match with Mercedes. Then the spot happened, and just things broke down rather quickly. Mercedes tried the submission spot of hers that she's done for years on end. It was awfully botched. It did not look pretty. I don't know if that was probably the original finish, but it wouldn't shock me if it was. And because it looked so just terrible, I think an audible was called. And apparently, according to reports, Mercedes herself made the call. Let's change the finish up. And after 2 gut-wrench power bombs, that was it. Willow Nightingale was victorious. Crowd didn't know what to think because they could tell Mone was hurt, clearly. And they were very shocked to see Willow Nightingale win also. But they took to it after the shock of it happened. Then the crowd was into it and very much into Willow Nightingale winning this. A very emotional moment, a very real moment in the ring afterwards. Willow cut a promo thanking the fans, being very grateful for the opportunity and grateful to be in the ring with Mercedes and defeat Mercedes. And at that point, she started crying in the ring. Just an excellent, excellent promo. And I'm really interested to see where they go with Willow Nightingale as things pertain to AEW, Ring of Honor, all these kind of things. Even coming up here this weekend in Las Vegas, I would guess Willow's going to be involved in the Dynamite tapings tomorrow on some level. So we'll see where they go with it, where they're going to do and how they're going to present her. But this is a big moment for Willow Nightingale, and I think the time to strike the iron while it's hot now. We'll see where they go with Willow Nightingale and AEW. Overall, just a great show by New Japan standards here. One of the best U.S. New Japan shows I've ever seen. I gave it a solid A for sure. Similar to Backlash just last weekend. Just a phenomenal pay-per-view that from start to finish was really entertaining. Okay, everybody, before I leave Vegas, I'm not done yet here in the Wrestling Rats Control Center. We got 2 more to go. We got top 10 takes on a Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, and we're going to take a look back at the top 10, count 10, of the best AEW matches of all time, by my opinion, only. And then we're going to do a special Las Vegas preview week, looking ahead at Double or Nothing week and everything that's going on in Las Vegas that you will be seeing right here on Wrestling Rants with tons of exclusive content coming your way. So stay tuned. A couple more rants to go, and then I'm off to Vegas. See you back here for some more wrestling. Rants, baby!